Hey guys, let's talk about last night's episode of Rain, and I'm really enjoying this show. It's got the right ingredients of everything. It's got the girl drama, it's got the boy drama, we've got the crazy mom who doesn't want her son getting mixed up with the bad girl, and they've got some spooky stuff going on in the woods. I mean, it's awesome. So let's get right to it. So this week, it starts off with this woman, and she's in a carriage, and it gets attacked. And we find out that this woman, her name is Olivia. And Olivia and Francis used to be an item back in the day. But she was promised to another man. And when they found out that her and Francis had actually gotten down to business, her engagement was called off. And so she decided, well, she didn't decide, they basically kicked her out. And so she had to leave. And when her carriage gets attacked, she comes back to where Francis lives. And of course, Mary's sweet and she's nice and she's welcoming to this girl. And she realizes that they had a past together, but she's nice anyway. And Olivia quickly shows her true colors. And she's like, listen, Francis used to love me and I used to love him, so don't count on this engagement happening. And Mary's like, listen, he was always promised to me, so your little Trisk was never going to turn into anything. And she's like, well, that's what you think. And you can really see the claws come out. So it's like, and she's basically saying she's not going anywhere and we'll see who Francis chooses. And of course, Mary is not trying to hear this. So she tells Francis she's got to go. And she organizes or arranges for her to be sent to some place in, I believe, Italy. And Francis is all for it because he tells Mary, listen, you're the one that I want to be with. That was in the past. I think that our arrangement is so much better now. And I mean, the two of them have gotten so cute and they're flirty and they're kissy. And, you can tell that they really do like each other. And this Olivia girl coming in just does not sit well with Mary. So when we have a scene now with Olivia and Francis, he tells her, listen, we've made arrangements for you to go to Italy and they won't know anything about what happened. So you're basically not going to be seen as a tarnished girl, somebody who's already, has been soiled, I guess, in a way, because she's already had sex with Francis. And so, but she'll still be able to go on and she'll be able to marry this other guy. And she's like, well, I don't want to go. I want to stay. And she's actually upset that he would want her to leave. And she's like, listen, I love you. I don't care. I'll stay. I'll be your mistress. You can have me any way you want, whenever you want, however you want. And that's basically the promise that she gives to Francis. And he's just standing there like, oh, really? And so, of course, now Mary finds this out. She's like, one of her girls, Kina, comes to her and is like, what's going on? I thought Olivia was leaving. How come she's unpacking all of her stuff? And Mary's like, what are you talking about? That's not true. And she's like, no, it is. Let me go. I'll go confirm it, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. Of course, Mary is livid. So she goes to Francis and confronts him and is like, what's going on? And he's like, listen, I don't want her to stay, and it's only going to be for a little while, but this is what's happening. And she's like, no, she doesn't want to just be here, for kindness. She wants to destroy our union. And he's like, listen, let me do what I need to do. And she's like, I need to be respected. And they're just like, rah, 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 rah. And it's awesome because she's basically standing her ground like she should. This is the second time now that she's basically being, put to the back burner and letting other people dictate whether this union is going to happen. And she's over it. So she's drinking and she's having fun at the party and she storms off. And of course, Francis is looking for her because he feels bad. Like, he does care about her and he doesn't want to see her upset. And Mary's off. She sees Bash, so she starts hanging out with Bash and she's drinking with Bash and she's, swigging the wine. And next thing you know, the two of them are having a little kissy themselves. So it's what you would call a mash, since everybody always likes to merge these two names together. So, they start kissing and then she pulls back and she's like, oh my God, I shouldn't have done that. And he's like, yeah, you're right. He's like, I should have done it. Then he grabs her and he kisses her and it's pretty hot and heavy. And then who spies the two of them? Of course, Francis does. So, Mary gets up and she's like, oh my God, like, she feels bad because that really shouldn't happen. She goes to Francis. Now, she's not aware that Francis saw this. And she's just like, oh, I'm sorry that I got so upset earlier. I promise, we can talk about this further. And he's like, it's fine. It is what it is. You've shown me your true colors. basically is what he says to her. And, she kind of pouts and she just kind of sulks off. And then he gets up and he sees Olivia and he walks off into the, back to the castle with her. So, of course, Mary's not pleased. And, she basically dug her own grave, too, for reaching out to another man, even if it is Bash. But I mean, it was just your teenage angst at its best. And, I do want to see, I don't necessarily want to see a triangle because I'm always so tired of the triangle. But if Mr. Francis is going to continue to do this whole, well, I can have you, but you got to sit back here and watch me flirt with all these other girls, but I still want you game, then hey, what's good for the goose, good for the gander. So that was kind of crazy what was happening there. Now, the other storyline that was going on was one of Mary's ladies in waiting, I believe how you say her name, like Ailey. She, for some reason, had stolen a ring out of Mary's room. And she tripped and fell, and it fell out of her little napkin. And Queen Catherine saw this. And, of course, Catherine's like, what are you doing? What is this? And then she says, listen, in order for me not to tell anybody, I need you to do something for me. And she asks Ailey to because Mary writes letters to her mom every week. And so Catherine wants to read these letters before they get sent off because she really wants to know what Mary is really thinking. And of course, Catherine's trying to play it up like, I try to talk to Mary, but she doesn't really open up to me, and I'd really like to know what she's thinking. So if I got these letters that she would send to her mom before she sends them, then I would really know. And then she kind of gets all nasty and is like, and if you don't do it, then, basically I'm going to get you kicked out of here and da-da-da-da. So she feels she has no choice. So what was really cool was we find out that Olivia, her carriage was attacked by and was set up by Catherine. And she's the one who arranged for Olivia to come to the castle to break up Francis and Mary, which is awesome. Because Catherine is, obviously obsessed with the fact that Nostradamus had told her that Mary would be the death of her son. So she's trying to do anything she can to prevent this wedding. So she is the one who orchestrated this Olivia return, and it's crazy because Olivia Olivia was not Catherine's biggest fan back in the day, obviously, and she didn't want Olivia around, and Olivia knew this. So now she finds out that Catherine was behind the whole thing, and she wants Olivia to break up their arrangement, and she wants her to get pregnant as soon as possible. So these two are going to be thick as thieves, and it's great. However, Mary is not an idiot. So she knows that Catherine is behind this whole thing. And what is awesome is that Ailey went to Mary and told her all about Catherine wanting to read her letters before. So perfect. So Mary is going to, I guess, write these faux letters so that Ailey can take them to Catherine. Catherine thinks she's reading the real thing. And it's brilliant. I mean, this is what I'm loving about the show. They're not making Mary just some like doughy little girl who does whatever everybody tells her. She understands what's really going on. She knows that people are trying to kill her all over the place. She knows that Catherine does not like her, and she will do whatever it is to break up this union. Obviously, she doesn't know what Nostradamus thinks, that she's going to be like the one to kill Francis at some point, but she knows that Catherine is up to no good, and I love that. She's not just like sitting back and going, okay, sure, yes, sir, yes, king, yes, prince, like blah. Perfect. So now Mary says to her, you continue to give Catherine my letters, and I know that she's behind this whole Olivia return, and I'm going to prove it. Awesome. Then we had Kina, who is, all into Mr. King Harry, and she tells Mary, like, listen, the king has told me he wants me to be his number one mistress. So I no longer answer to you, I answer to the king. And it was like, girl is getting attitude and she's getting too big for her britches. So that was kind of cool because Mary found out from Queen Catherine that Kina had been, hooking up with her hubby. And she's like, you better get used to it because back in the day, my husband used to love me just the way, Francis is claiming to love you, and then it all turns. So, Mary finds this out, and she's shocked that Kina has been hooking up with the king, and she confronts her on it, and she's like, yeah, it's true, and I don't answer to you no more. So I was kind of like, well, okay, this girl is getting a little too high and mighty. So that was kind of awesome. We'll see where that goes. And then we had one of her other ladies in waiting, Greer, who is the one who is hooking up with the guy in the kitchen, and his name is Leith. And we all know that he's going to be her end game, but he's a kitchen man, like he's nobody. So she can't really go down that road. She can't wed him because he's not going to bring her any riches to her family, and that is why her family has sent her here, so that she can marry a rich man. And this man comes to the castle, and he's like this old dude, and she's like, chatting him up, and she's being all friendly with him and like flirting, and then she sees Leith in the corner of her eye, and she's all like, oh, like, obviously she doesn't want Leith to see her flirting with this guy, but she has to, because what else is she gonna do? She's got to look out for her family at the end of the day. And it's so sad and it's so heartbreaking, but that's what these women had to do back in the day. They couldn't just marry for love. They had to marry for title. And at the end of the episode, Greer goes to Leith and she tells him, like, listen, I like you, and she knows he likes her, and they're gonna just hook up, but nobody can find out. It's basically, this has to be hush, hush, or else I'm gonna be spoiled goods, and nobody's gonna want me, and I can't have that. I can't have that for me or my family. And he's like, all right, let's do it. So it was kind of funny. And then we had the blood month and the blood woods and the blood monster, and like these pagans who have to like do these sacrifices and these rituals, and they're the ones who like took Catherine's people, Olivia's people at the beginning of the episode, I believe, and Bash like tried to save one of them, and because he did that, one of the pagans came to see Bash and was like, listen, what you did, you will pay for. You cannot, disrupt things that are in progress, and because you tried to save this man, you will be dealt with at a later date. And it's kind of crazy, and this man's spewing all this stuff, and he's basically saying like, I'm willing to die for the greater good and all this, and then he just like falls off the ledge of this castle and kills himself. So you're like, what is going on? So they've got the creepy things that's happening in the woods, and it's going to obviously be very interesting to see what that does for the overall story. Kind of cool, kind of creepy, not really sure what's going to happen there, and I like it. There's all kinds of juicy goodness going on this show right now. And it's on the CW, and at first I was like, this show looks whack, and I don't think I'm going to even invest in it at all. And I'm really glad that I did, because there's a lot going on, and Catherine is behind a lot of the bad stuff that's happening, and Mary is just not letting the wool being pulled over her eyes. Francis, you can tell that he's falling for Mary, and he's trying to do the right thing, and he wants to lead with his heart, but he knows he ultimately can't. And it's going to be interesting to see the struggle that he has. And he loves his brother Bash, even though he's the bastard. Bash is just like, hey, what do I have to lose? I'm the bastard son. I can grab Mary, kiss her, whatever. I'm not going to lose nothing. So it's kind of funny. I'm really enjoying this show, guys. So I'll see what happens next week. But this is my review of Reign. Good job, guys. I like it. See you next week. Bye.